180, center.
Charlotte, the Clemson Tigers have entered the room, and they'll be with us until 11:30. And as we set to get Coach and his student athletes to the stage, we'll remind everyone once again to please identify yourselves and the media agency that you're with, and we will get to as many questions as we can. We'll have 15 minutes with our head coach and then 5 minutes with each of our student athletes. Coach, we welcome you to the podium. You're up first. And Coach, your first question is going to come to the right side, young lady in the red sport coat.
I'm Katrina Sacco with Sports and Culture Media. Coach, how are you? Good. I don't know if you saw this yesterday or not, but Duke's Mike Elko made a comment yesterday and said Clemson is the golden standard. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, and a popular topic of conversation last November was the South Carolina-Clemson game, which unfortunately didn't end in your favor. Therefore, lots of eyes are going to be on y'all as y'all head into Williams-Brice Stadium this November. With the high expectations that are around you and placed upon you, and terms such as golden standard describing you, what is the mindset that you have to come into these games with?
No different. Every year, we start over, and man, we're just trying to win the opener. Honestly, I mean that's the same mindset. If your mindset's any different than that this time of year, you're probably not in the right headspace. I mean, man, you got to take it one at a time. You can't win 2 games till you win 1. You certainly can't win 10 till you win 9. I mean, it just all builds. So we're not locked in on whatever being a gold standard or what other people say or label us outside expectations. We're just locked in on what we focus on every day, what we control, and that is just trying to win the day. Let's have a great camp, and we got a tough opener, and try to win the opener, and then we'll go from there.
Coach, to your left, first row.
Coach Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Looking at NIL, transfer portal, realignment, reclassification with some schools, there's all these things that are going on outside of what you typically have to do in your day-to-day, which is enough for a coach. How do you see us stepping forward in this conference of the ACC and in general as we try to tackle some of these big issues that obviously affect you and re-recruiting your players every year?
I mean, just got to win. Just got to win. All that stuff, there's a lot to talk about, but it still comes down to what you do on the field. And, we got to win on the field. We've got to continue to produce great teams year in and year out. I think we've been able to do that. There's a lot of really good coaches and really good players in this league. You can go all the way back to 2005. You can go back to 2013. This league has produced the second most draft picks. So the NFL is the best of the best, and they've been coming to the ACC at a high rate to take these players here. So great coaches, great players. But at the end of the day, we got to win football games, and so my focus is on what we do at Clemson, and I think we got a lot of really, really good teams in this league, and again, as I said, great coaches. So just continuing to compete at the highest level, and obviously we step out of conference, and you get matchups, and we've got to continue to win, and our fair share of those.
Coach, to your right, fifth row, almost towards the wall.
How you doing, Coach? Billy Mitchell from Sons of Saturday. The dialogue surrounding the ACC is that it is largely dominated and elevated largely by Clemson, rightfully so after winning championships in 7 of the last 8 years. But how do you feel about the conference today, and how do you believe the Clemson brand itself benefits from the ACC?
Well, I think our conference is again, done a lot of great things. I can only speak from Clemson, but we're part of this conference. Just like some of these other schools that have done well, they're a part of their conference. But I think we're second in playoff wins since this thing came about, and appearances. We've won on the biggest stage. Certainly not perfect, but as far as the brand, the ACC does a tremendous job in promoting our teams, and again, we've had a lot of consistency, and that's a result of our brand, because we got kids coming from all over the country. We got kids from California, Texas, Florida, Ohio, Kansas, Maryland, Massachusetts, and everywhere in between. So, that doesn't happen if you don't have a great brand. And we're certainly proud of, the Paw and what we've been able to do at Clemson, but, also, all that the league has been able to do to promote us as well.
Coach, to your left, fourth row towards the wall.
Hey Dabo, Grayson Mann, ClemsonRivals.com. Do you feel like there's a distinct advantage for you opening once again on a Monday night, having that this program did that in 2022?
Not really. It kind of helps with your prep, I guess, just because we did it last year. So, because it is a little different, you've got to take a couple of days of your camp and prepare for the next opponent. Because we're going to get back at 5 in the morning and it's Tuesday, and you play again on Saturday. And it doesn't matter who you play; you got to play the game, and you want to be prepared. The last thing you want to do is put your team in a situation where they're not prepared. And the team we're playing, I think, plays on Thursday night, so they got a lot of time to get ready for us. So you got to take a little time in camp to get ready for that opponent, and then it's a little different again being a Monday night, but that's probably it. It's two good football teams, man. Duke is coming off a great year. I think Coach Elko's one of the best coaches in the country. I can't get away from the guy. He's just always showing up. He Wake. Thank God he left Wake. Well, then we got to play Notre Dame. We're playing them in the playoffs, and then, all right, he's gone from there. Now I look up and we somehow got Texas A&M on our schedule 2 years in a row, and now they go away, and now he's at Duke. He's a great coach, and man, what an unbelievable job he did last year. He and his staff, and they got about everybody back. So it's going to be a heck of a game, heck of a matchup, and national stage to go compete.
Coach, we'll go back to your right, fourth row. Nice hands, by the way, at the podium.
Yeah. You saw that, Cade. Wide out. If you need me, man.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Coach, you've been on record multiple times of saying that sometimes Clemson is an outsider or doesn't get the same love or recognition. And after so much dominance in 6 years straight of CFP appearances, after 2 years of not being there, it does seem like there's a little bit of a rush to say Clemson has lost that national relevancy. Do you use that as motivation and a chip on your shoulder? Or is it block out the outside noise, none of that matters to me?
Listen, our people talk about Clemson. We've had 12 really, really good years in a row. Some great years in there. It's hard to get to a Final Four when there's 133 teams trying to do it. And we've been there as much as anybody. And if not going 8 years in a row means we stink, well, I guess we stink. But maybe we can get back there this year and be able to say we went 7 out of the last 9 years. That would be pretty cool accomplishment. But that's not going to happen if we don't win the opener and win the state championship, win this league, and win the closer. So that's all we're focused on. None of the rest of that stuff. Really, just what we can control, and that's our prep, our mindset. How we attack each day.
Coach, back to your left, fourth row towards the wall again. Fourth row left.
Hey, Coach. David Glenn from the North Carolina Sports Network and the David Glenn Show. We've met a lot of transfers here at ACC Kickoff. You have kind of the old school approach where you have 2 fifth-year guys and they're all high school signees. I've read that you may lose a dozen outgoing transfers but not sign many incoming transfers, and that seems to be different than most approach. Why is that your philosophy?
Well, it's just where we are, kind of state of the program. If I was taking a new job, then we'd have it'd be what you have to do, because you're going to have a mass exodus of players, and you got to, obviously, it's probably not a good job, so you got to turn the roster. There's a lot of things that go into it. But I'm going in year 15, and there's just a lot of continuity. We've got a 98% graduation rate. We had 7 guys that could have gone in the draft. I think 3 of them have master's degrees that I didn't think would be back here. I had no intention of them being back, but they're all back. Will Putnam is back for a COVID year. Tyler Davis, Rook, Sheridan, JP. XT, Justin Maskell. these are all guys that are all graduates that all could have, headed off to the draft. But, that's what excites me about this team is you have a group like that came back to Clemson. And they didn't come back to just hang out, in Tiger Town for another year. They came back with focus. They came back with a very clear purpose and vision of what they want to do in this one last shot for them. So that is exciting to me. So we haven't, we've gone to the portal where we've needed it. We've signed a couple of quarterbacks where we felt like we needed a bridge guy and an older backup veteran that would give us some depth. We've been able to do that. But we've not had a single starter leave Clemson. Not one. The kids that have left, even the majority of the guys that have left Clemson have been graduates. And that's number one. So number two, we've had only 2 kids leave Clemson post-spring in the last two years. And they were both graduates. And one was a 6th corner and the other was a 6th defensive end. And they just wanted to go play. So now if you had a mass exodus after spring, you had 10, 12 guys, well, you got to go. So we have not had that. And then we're still signing the best high school players in the country. Listen, I'd go sign Tyler Davis and Will Putnam and Cade Klubnik over anybody right now. These are great players. So we're fortunate that way because we've been able to. We're the 2nd winningest team in the country the last 12 years. We've never had a number 1 recruiting class. I don't think we've ever been close. I think we've had 13 top 15 classes in a row. So our evaluation and development and retention has been how we've won at Clemson. And again, you see it this year, 7 guys that all could have entered the draft, all came back. And then the infusion of another great signing class, 15 mid-years. We can go sign Peter Woods. So I'm sure there were some good guys in the portal at D-line, but I like Peter Woods. I kind of like the guys we signed. And I like the guys that are on our team that are developing. So, at some point we'll have some gap that we have to address, and we've used it as we've needed.
Coach, your last question will come to your right, 3rd row, gentleman in the blue shirt.
Hey, Coach. Liam Griffin, Orange Fizz. Can you touch on what makes Cade such a special player entering his first year as the starter?
Well, he's a winner, first of all. The kid has won his entire life. So, when you have somebody who's consistently won for a long time, there's certain characteristics that drive that. And he embodies all those characteristics. He's an unbelievable competitor. He loves to prepare. He's passionate about it. He's a leader. He's got a great football IQ, and he's got an amazing skill set. So there's really not much to not like about Cade Klubnik. That's why he won the Elite 11 and was the top quarterback in the country coming out of high school. So he didn't luck up and do that. He's put a lot of work in, and then everything that he's done at Clemson came in here a little behind physically, honestly, and but he's in a really good spot. He's probably by the time we get to weigh in next week, he's about probably 25 pounds heavier than when he showed up. And this time last year, he didn't know what he didn't know, and now he knows what he didn't know, and that's a great thing. There's no greater teacher than experience, and there's no greater teacher than a little bit of disappointment along the way too. And so he's had a lot of success. He's had a little bit of disappointment. He's got a year under his belt. He understands, what we got to do to prepare week in and week out, and he's built for it.
Coach, thank you. If you literally want to hand the microphone off to Tyler Davis, we can have you guys switch positions. Folks, Tyler will be with us for about 5 minutes. Once again, please identify yourselves and the agency that you're with, and we'll get to as many questions as we can. And Tyler, we'll start to the right side, 4th row.
Hey there, Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Tyler, you were given nicknames based on some absolutely phenomenal defensive tackles in the program's history, and Baby Dex and Mini Fridge and all those things. And yet you've set multiple records for interior defensive linemen there and are on pace to become the first defensive